Hey guys, just me in a moment of reflection, thinking about some things that I wanted to be able to share with you. And I was thinking about this common phrase that we use a lot when we are going through things and we're having tough times. We often say when things are bad that we're going through. And that phrase, going through, it's also a testimony. You know, it could mean that exactly what it is. We're having a tough time, we're going through, but it's also a testimony too. I guess it all depends on how you look at it. Well, it was how I looked at certain situations in my life, especially when I was going through some of the rockiest times in my life on this past year. I told myself that I was not going to stay in this place. So I'm a person and I look at words and meanings of words. So when I look at the words going through, or the word through, I looked at its meaning, and it means moving in one side and out of the other. So it is an in and an out. So when you are going through and when you are in the midst of a trial or struggle, it does not mean that you are going to stay in that trial or that struggle. It means that there is still a movement. It means that you are in it, but on the other side of it, you are going to come out. That means that you are in it now, but you are going to come out of it. So it does mean that, okay, you might be struggling, you might be suffering, you might be hurting, but you have to keep going. So it does not mean that this is what your destiny is. If you have faith and you believe, and if you just keep on going, that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. But you just have to have faith and you have to believe, okay, I'm going through, but I'm going to go through it until I get to it. And I'm going to go through it until I get to what? My peace. I'm going to go through it until I get to what? My joy. I am going to go through it until I get to what? My happiness. That's just like when a storm comes. A storm may be threatening to come, but that doesn't mean that when the storm comes, I'm just going to stand there and just let the rain, the sleet, and the snow just fall all over me. No, I am going to take cover. I am going to protect myself. I am going to make sure that I am not going to just stand there and be abused by it. You understand what I'm saying? I am going to do the necessary things to take myself and to make sure that I am not in direct hit of what's coming. So I'm going to move myself. So just because the storm is coming and just because it is there, that don't mean that it's going to affect me always. Seasons change, and just like the snow was here today and is gone tomorrow. So it might be here one day, but that don't mean that it's gonna stay. So it is up to you to decide. Am I going to allow these things? Am I going to allow these storms to just hit me? Am I going to allow these storms to just take over me? Am I gonna go through it and stand there, or am I going to go through it all the way until the end? Am I going to go through it and just give up halfway in the middle, or if I'm going to go through it all the way to the end? See, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but you will never see it if you don't go all the way to the end. See, that's the thing about going through. You have to continue all the way until the end, because at the end is where you see victory. At the end is where you see peace. At the end is where you see joy. At the end is where you see yourself victorious. You may not like it when you're in the midst of it. See, at the end of when you're in a race, and when they say get on your mark, get set, go, you don't know who the winner is until you get to the finish line. So you have to endure until the end. So just because you're in the midst of a struggle, just because you're in the midst of a trial, that does not mean that it's over. You have to go through it in order to get to it. I read something that said that if you're going through hell, keep on going. So I just want to encourage you on today that if you're going through it, keep going through it until you get to it. Because your peace, your joy, your happiness, and your satisfaction is just at the end. Be blessed.